Well, hello. I'm glad to see everyone again. So, it's been some time since I last made any of these videos. I've been waiting for parts and tools to come in, and they did. So, this being the operative important one for, well, one of them. But this being the most important one. So I was also planning on starting work on dealing with this, but I guess that one will wait. So we'll be dealing with this one, which I've had for several days now. I've only just chosen to open it. I have to applaud the senders. Interesting. This is trash, which I don't have my trash can near here. That later. So am I going to have to... Well, I have my vodka here. Vodka mixed with grocery store orange drink. Grocery store. On. So yeah, it is possible to order these things in bulk, but I only needed the one. I don't have many that have these soldered parts onto them, so... Oh yeah. So it looks like the balls are already on here, so I'm not going to need to solder this chip. I mean, I won't have to... It looks like that I'm not going to have to... Where's my... Here we go. I don't want to touch this too much with my filthy hands. But it looks like it's already has the solder balls on it, so I won't have to reball the chip, which is fantastic. That is exactly perfect. So all that means that hypothetically all I should need to do is actually attach the chip to the motherboard. Then we get to see if it works. So right to my good old friend right here. See you soon. Just as a fast FYI, I am still dealing with figuring out the peaking of this microphone. It's still an ongoing process. I'm hoping that it will mostly be, because I keep having to lower the decibels that the thing recorded. It's currently at minus 12. It's been inching lower and lower. I just want to make sure everyone hears me, but, you know, I don't blow out your eardrums. And that's what's important. Start getting things started. All right. It's been sitting here waiting. Waiting for me to get this whole thing started. Now I will all these electronics from my hands. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is use my soldering wick to get all that extra solder off. This goes right here, where it can wait for me. Here comes the fun bit, because, yeah, well, so my task right here, right now, is to clean these solder pads with this solder wick right here. Maybe should have left a little bit more wick there. So I have no heat running through anything right now. So from what I've seen in the video, all I need to do is heat this up and just kind of run this over here. I did see that they applied extra solder to this whole thing. I'll leave my chip out of this. You go somewhere else. So I'm setting this to 200. I can kind of feel the bumpiness. Maybe I should set the temperature higher. See this whole thing spreading out. Did I pull off more than I should have? Either way, I'm going to need more wick. So I believe it was made a point to me that I shouldn't be pressing down, and I'm trying not to. Really seeing any major change here. Okay. All right. Oh, yep, there we go. Okay, come on. Okay, I can see that some of it is just kind of just refusing. I can feel this thing getting stuck to it too. And it should not be doing that. Oh no, I messed up. Okay, let's get more wick then. I feel like I've already used more of this wick than I have actually needed to. There's still so much solder left on here. feel like I'm missing something. Not sure what, if anything, I'm doing wrong. It's certainly hot enough. All right, if I have to Google this right now, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I've been using one with this flat head here because I was hoping that that would be better, but I'm going to try with a different tip. Maybe that will... I'll let this thing cool off. Then I'll change out this head for a different one. No, much too hot. This is going to be a process. Let's try this again. We'll get you down here, pointed at the right thing. I'm trying to do this all with one hand. Okay. You can see the reflection of the camera. Yeah, lights off. So yeah, last time it did not go as well as I would have liked, so we're going to try this again. So I'm just going to wait for that whole thing to heat up. It looks like it worked a little bit. Okay, so from what I am to understand, this next time, when I have, once I have all this spare solder off, or at least I've gotten this smoothed out a bit, I'll be putting some more flux down onto this bit right here, and then I can add the chip in. Add the chip. Which thankfully, since I ordered it, is already fully balled up, so I will not need to reball anything. So I currently have this set to 350 degrees. You can feel how bumpy this is. Already this seems like it's doing a lot better. feel like this is failing in a way that I'm not comfortable with admitting. I'm going to go even hotter. So I have to assume that some of the heat is being lost. Whatever, even if I'm a bit inefficient, I'll keep at this until I succeed. So am I supposed to just heat this up and leave it in one place? Am I supposed to wipe this across the solder points? I can definitely see it's picking something up, but I don't know. The other issue is I'm not melting the copper to this thing, am I? It's clearly picking up the solder like it's supposed to. Maybe it would do better if I this does not look clean or smooth or anything. It looks like more of a mess than it's ever been. Okay, this, what I'm doing feels a lot better. I'm to wonder if I would do better if I put some flux down. what that sound was. That was me picking the wick up off the floor. So, you know, that's just perfect. Even if this whole thing ends up succeeding, I sincerely hope that this becomes easier. Or at least less time consuming. Maybe it's just because there's a lot more solder on here on the board than I thought. Well, either way, let's get another wick. Okay. What I'm able to see here is just so much extra. So I now have some copper wires sticking out of this, which is not good. Sorry, I moved this thing closer to where I could see it better. I should do. At least move so I can see it better. Because right now I'm not feeling confident about any of this. I can see those two big splashes of solder just right off to the side, and it's not coming off no matter how many times I wipe it over with this wick. So I don't know if it's an issue Let's just shut this off for now. I feel like I must be missing something. I don't know what I'm doing wrong in particular, because this every time I swipe over this, it ends up being worse. I'm leaving little copper fillings in here. The solder is getting in places where it shouldn't. So I'm going to take a break and then I'm going to come back. Okay, so I've tried to look this up and I think I have a better idea of what I need to do, but I don't know. Okay, come on. Let me... All right, move my wick over there. So, according to the video, I can get some flux paste down here, which will help spread out the heat. And I'm supposed to put tinned solder on this, but it seems... I don't know about that. Mostly because if I put more solder on here, and I'm supposed to be cleaning up solder, it seems counterintuitive. So, I mean, I have this, and I have my no clean tin lead solder paste. So now I found out that the reason that it was getting stuck to the board was because apparently the thing was not large enough or hot enough. So I returned the head to this thicker point here. Speaking of which, I will heat this back up. So I guess I'll try this with a bit of solder paste on here. And we'll see how that goes. Flux paste. All of this is done with flux paste. Okay, that looks like that'll be enough. I will just get that melted down a bit. Now that that's there, we'll get this. See if this helps. I think it is helping. Maybe not helping enough still. Okay, this. Grabbing the wick from that end in that way did not do me any favors. Let's just re-grab this wick. In comparison, I'm hoping that putting the chip on here will be much easier, which will so this time around I'm not getting the wick stuck on here, so maybe that's a good sign, but I'm guessing that I'm going to need to get this thing to be hotter. At the very least, I need to get these large splotches out of here. I don't get it. The issue may once again just be I'm not getting this hot enough. It's again stuck on here, which means it's still not hot enough. Crap. This thing's set to 350. I don't know why it's not melting the solder. Okay. Every time I get on here, it just gets worse. What am I going to do? This whole section of wick is stuck on here. Okay. Okay, let's try something slightly different. Let me get some more flux. Oh, there it is. Actually, hold on with that. Where's my wick? Okay. All it's doing is pushing this flux. This whole thing is getting so hot, so the solder isn't even melting. At the very least, I got the copper bits out. looks like I'm doing some damage to this motherboard itself. Let's shut this thing off. Okay, so I'll let this bit cool off and maybe just kind of clean some of this off. So it's not completely clean the way I wanted to, but it might at least give me an idea as to what I can do, because I'm betting that I just didn't have the temperature of my other thing high enough, because I tried to keep it as close to around 300 as possible, but it looks like I need to push it up to as high as it can go, which is... I don't know how to feel about that. Okay, so we'll give this a few moments and then we'll come back to it. Okay. All right, we are going to do this again. So I did have some success with the blower. So I'm going to do a similar thing. I'm going to go back to my other thing, except this time I'll actually set up the temperature high, as high as it's supposed to be, hypothetically speaking. So temperature is now far higher. So I was able to clean it off before. Of course, cleaning off this flux is a bit of a an issue. So I can't help but notice that this whole thing is a bit easier this time. I feel like I need to set it a bit higher. This is a bit of an odd color. I'll just get a new wick again. Gone through a lot of wick just to get through this small little bit here. Not terribly thrilled about that. So the whole thing is looking a lot flatter and a lot better. So yeah, it seems to be that my ongoing issues have mostly been revolving around the fact that the temperature is not as... I've not been placing the temperature as high as it needed to be. So I don't like how it looks like some of those spots are missing. So I'm hoping... I do not like how it looks like some of the little things are missing. Well, it's definitely picking up the solder this time at least. Again, though, I'm not terribly thrilled about how much of this wick I've been going through for this one spot. Bit more flux. Come on. Get off. This whole thing feels quite smooth now, so I think I've succeeded. All right. So let's get that thrown away. I'll wait for that to cool down a bit, and then I'll spray it with some alcohol and get that flux off. All right. Then after that, I'll inspect it, and then because I don't know, it still doesn't look quite right to me. It looks like it's missing some of the balls. Some of those rather important connection points. I'll go and I'll wash it off a bit. We'll be right back. So this thing looks a lot better than it did, but also a lot worse. It's missing some of the little points on here. And I'm not sure how that's going to work when I eventually put the new chip on there, because I'm betting that these metal bits is going to hold up the chip, and the metal bits isn't going to get down to where it needs to be with these little spots that are missing. So I think I'm going to need to get back to this, do a little bit more work, and then come back to this and try to... First of all, I still need to try to get... There is still a bit of solder still on here that I need to get off. Or maybe more accurately, I need to get some solder back on here. Maybe not. There's at least one bit on here that I still need to work on. Actually, you know what? Maybe that's something I can do right now. I'm trying to figure out how to work this thing into anything I do, but it's just... like, why? Just get a little bit more flux on here. I wonder if I put flux paste on here, maybe it would be possible for me to just, you know what, I'll worry about that in a minute. Okay. let's get started. Just letting my thing heat up. Almost there. Not seeing much of an improvement. Not much of an improvement at all. Okay. I am nervous about this. Very nervous. So, I've given this whole thing my best shot, but this part on the motherboard does not look right. So, what I'm going to do is see if I can... The way things look, I'm not terribly confident that resoldering the new chip is going to work. At least with the way that I managed to get this now. So what I need to do now is to figure out how I can fix this situation. And, but I'm running out of time tonight, so I'll see if I can deal with that tomorrow. So I will join me then, so hopefully we can figure out how to save this motherboard.
Tomorrow.
Are we recording? Alright, good. Okay. Stop that video. You can't hear it because my desktop sound is off. Okay, so yesterday was quite a learning experience. I did not it was not the rousing success. I was hoping to have at least installed the chip by the end of my particular thing yesterday, but instead I spent virtually all of it just getting solder off of that area, and I failed doing that. So, I'm going to continue at it, hopefully to try to fix that situation. I've gotten some of my leaded solder out. I'm going to try to hopefully get everything fixed. So let's get started. So this right here is what I'm dealing with. So I'm not going to keep it up here just because it's going to be difficult, but yeah. So what I'm hoping I'll be able to do is I have a bit of solder that I can put on there that I'm hoping will restore some of these missing bits on here. Naturally, but most importantly, to get some of those leads that are somehow connected back to that fuse together back apart again. Anyway, let's get my machine machine on. Okay, so how the video did that is they basically just swatched over it a little bit, directly touching this with the with that area, along with this, which is my solder lead. So I probably have a little bit too much of that, and then I'd swatch over it with swath over it with the soldering wick. Use up this whole thing by the end, I'm sure. So, right. Given that you've seen daylight out of this room right now, you'll notice that I've been taping during the day, which I don't normally do. I usually start taping after start recording after the sun goes down. Interesting. Just stay on. So I'm hoping that you'll all I did was turn this into a ball, it seems. flux on this thing. Just wipe that off. So did it actually restore some of it? It looks a little bit better. Not great, but better. Need to be careful, otherwise I'm just going to get solder everywhere. Especially where it's not supposed to be. So I have to wonder if putting a little bit I feel like in my rush to all this has just made this whole thing a lot more complicated than it necessarily needs to be. I'm very good at that. I'm sure I've mentioned that before. So it does honestly look a little bit better. I still think it looks like some of the leads on here are connecting together when they shouldn't. So, what I think I can do is I can use some of my solder paste, I think, to try to fill in the rest of the bit. I can clean off some of the flux paste, then add a bit more in a moment. Let's skip to that. Okay, so I did this kind of unintentionally, but I've been applying some solder paste. So I'm hoping that whatever little tiny grooves are in here, the idea being that the paste will... So I'm going to take a paper towel and then just wipe this paste up. And then I'm going to blast it with heat from the soldering gun. And then hopefully it'll restore the rest of these leads, and then I'll clean that off just like I tried to do before. I should probably put some flux down on there. Where is my flux? There's my flux. Try this again. I did cut off a piece of soldering. Okay, so there's a large bulb there that is a heated lead wire. So we're going to, I need more flux. Before I even do that, I need more flux. Nice. I accidentally scooped up the middle bit. Okay, come on. Okay. Try to get this done and not waste any more material. Then after this, we can hopefully reattach the chip, which is the reason why everyone is here, including and especially myself. Okay. I didn't just shed right here, did I? Well, let's go back to the like I'm very suddenly making this whole thing worse. This may be it. So it's not getting stuck here. There's a little bit of stick there. Still does not look great. We'll keep going. I'm not about to give up on trying to rescue this laptop. Yeah. Right. Okay. All right. So Are there just some parts of this whole thing that just aren't the kind of parts that I thought they were? Maybe I should just flatten the whole thing out and let the chips solder do the rest. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. More flux. Not quite. Why does it look like there's something connecting when it shouldn't be? I think I may have probably overdone this quite a bit. I think I've hit bedrock, so to speak, here. I don't think there's anything else to be gleaned from wicking this off too much. I'm a bit concerned about this little spot right here. So nothing I do seems to really affect this whole thing very much at all. So it's not really certain what, if anything, that's even cleaning up anymore. So this whole thing looks very different than when I first pulled that off, but so I guess one of two things is going to happen when I get the new chip on here. Either it's going to work or I'm going to fry something that I don't want to be fried. So I think the most unfortunate thing is that this whole thing doesn't work. I'm going to have, it'll be a waste of a perfectly good battery. so I don't see there's much else to do with this thing except what I finally came here to do, which is to take this and add it and see. But I'm a little bit nervous to do it now, so what I'll do is we'll pick up next time. I'm going to take a little break. I've come across a bit of a problem. So I didn't realize it until I got a good look at this chip here, but this is not the correct chip. This is a BGA 169 chip, not a BGA 153 chip. So I need to order a new chip. Damn it. So, I guess I'm done with this for now.
2,000 years later.
Hello there. It's been some time since I worked on the Acer Cloudbook. It's definitely was a learning experience. I don't really consider that whole project to be over. It's just that, yeah, cleaning off that spot where the chip should have been, cleaning off the extra solder should have been 2 minutes, 3 minutes. They were able to clear it in a couple of minutes in both of the videos that I found that worked on something very similar to this. It should have been easy and simple. I was learning. I expected it to take me a long time, but I fumbled the whole thing essentially from start to finish. And this whole spot just looks damaged. It looks like a couple of the little dots on there that's supposed to connect the chip to the motherboard. They look like they're just flat out missing. I have no idea what happened there. I don't know if they're blacked out or if I just accidentally just yanked the whole thing out of there, which isn't not impossible. And on top of that, it looks like I somehow connected some of these points. Since I got the wick stuck on there, it may very well be that I just pulled the whole thing out. So that whole thing might just be ruined at this point, which is extremely disappointing. But I'm going to see if maybe it's salvageable. If I'm hoping that those connector points are still there. They're maybe just covered in something dark, but I'm expecting the whole thing to be written off. But anyway, regardless, I'm going to kind of off-screen looking into that to see if there's something I can do about it. Otherwise, I guess I just trash the motherboard, or rather have it recycled, and keep everything else because that battery is in good condition. Maybe I'll run across another Acer book of this model, or at least something that battery can fit into. Either way, the whole thing is extremely disappointing, but it was a learning experience. That chip is still good. I didn't ruin the chip trying to insert it into something, so that can be something I use in another project in the future. So I'm only out a little bit less, about $14.50 for this whole laptop. So, all that being said, I'll be able to move on to one of my next projects. So, hopefully, I'll see y'all in that next video, because it'll certainly be even more different skills, because I'll have to diagnose what the power problem is in that laptop, because the next one will be the last Chromebook, and the Acer Chromebook I've been hinting at this whole time. So yeah, please join me for that video. Thank you for joining me with all this. I will see you next time.